Hello and welcome all. Today, our topic of discussion is public speaking from Module 4 from the subject Effective Technical Communication. Public speaking is one of the essential verbal communication skills. It is the act or process of making speeches before the audience. It is an art of speaking to a group of people in a systematic and purposeful manner to motivate people to take a particular course of action or to simply tell a story. The effectiveness of public speaking depends upon how an orator is successful in changing the emotions or thought process of the listeners. In present times, public speaking for business and commercial events is often done by professionals. So that was about public speaking. It can also be called as oration or oratory. Public speaking, also known as oratory or oration, is the practice or act of delivering a speech to the live audience. Public speaking is commonly known as formal or face to face speaking of a single person to a group of attentive listeners. Besides, public speaking is considered as one of the ways of persuasion or inducement. The act of public speaking is performed with the purpose to inform, to persuade, and to entertain the listeners. As you all can see on the present slide, it has been listed that there are 5 elements of public speaking. It says who is saying what or delivering what. Number 3, to whom. Number 4, using what medium or means. And number 5, with what effects. These are known as the 5 elements of public speaking, which should be kept in mind while making a speech in the public. Now let's look at the pillars of public speaking. So, public speaking involves 3 pillars or the 3 V's, that is, to verbalize, to vocalize, to visualize. Let's see what we do in each of the pillars. So, firstly, to verbalize is where you select the words that you use to speak to the audience. It is what you speak. To vocalize is how you deliver the words using pace, pitch, power, pausing, modulations, or other vocal skills. Next, to visualize is how the audience visualizes you and your presentation skills. This involves how you dress, groom, and present yourself in front of the audience. These 3 pillars of public speaking are very important. In no way can each of them be ignored while making a public speech. Now, speaking about the importance of public speaking, we can say public speaking is where you present your thoughts and feelings in a proper manner. There is this wrong notion that only people involved in sales or marketing or mass media need to learn public speaking. In fact, however, the fact is that individuals from all marches of life have to speak in public at one time or the other. And that is why public speaking matters a lot in all our lives. So, there are a number of reasons that public speaking is important. So, the first one of them is that it increases self confidence. By effectively speaking in the public, you will be able to increase your own self confidence. It is one of the most prevalent fears in the world, that is public speaking. Some surveys have even revealed that for majority of people, the fear of public speaking is more than the fear of death. So, by enabling yourself to master this difficult skill, you will surely have the confidence and self belief that you need to face and meet complex challenges. And apart from that, the things that are going to help you to build your confidence is expect that you will be nervous. That is a very normal thing. Believe in yourself, get confidence in yourself, rehearse and practice, that is important. Stand and walk around while you practice. Let's see what is next in the list. So, public speaking makes us comfortable. When you practice public speaking regularly, it helps to make you more comfortable around other people. Maybe it may be just your friends, or relatives, or colleagues, or superiors, and even strangers. Once you're competent of instructing and controlling a room full of strangers, it will become a fun to smile, and shake hands. You'll be much more comfortable while meeting new individuals in more personal and friendly manner. That is how public speaking helps us. Next, it says that public speaking improves verbal and non-verbal communication. So, public speaking surely helps polish our everyday verbal and non-verbal communication skills. This is especially useful for people who spend a great deal of time on writing job and they are puzzled as how to properly vocalize their messages and put forward their viewpoints. So public speaking in that condition helps us a lot. Now in this particular slide, if you look at the picture in the middle, you will see that words, that is verbal and non-verbal communication, words are just 7% of what the audience absorb. Other than that, 55% is body language, what the people absorb, and then along with a body language, 38% is the tone and inflections of your voice. So you see how much uh, important is our body language and our tone of voice. And just as little as 7% is what we are saying or the words that we are using. But that verbal words, that words, oral communication is also important. The 7% is also important. Next, we are going to study about the tips for effective public speaking. So, the first tip for effective public speaking is that knowing your material. We must always pick up a topic of our interest. We should gain more and more knowledge about it before you include it in a speech. And in between, you must use humor, use personal stories or live examples, and conversational language while preparing for it. In a way, you won't easily forget what you want to say when you know your material. Next is practice and practice. So, practice is the right word when you are therefore preparing for public speaking. Practice. Rehearsing out loud with all the aids and material that you plan to use. Revise and improve upon your speech. Work on the material that will serve as fillers like quotes or maybe stories and poems. Practice in a relaxed mode. Keep a timer while practicing and keep track on the timing. That is very important. Next is know and mix up with the audience. So before you are making a speech, always get some knowledge about the audience's background. Maybe you offer a handshake or greet some of the audience members as they arrive. This will enable you to feel more comfortable while speaking, as It is more convenient to speak to a group of acquaintances than strangers if they are kind of acquaintance for you. The next tip is about knowing the venue. Whenever you need to make a public speech, arrive a little early before the scheduled time. Walk around the speaking area, make yourself comfortable with the location, and give time for the final practice at the venue using the speaker and any other visual aid. The next one says relax. So, relaxing means where you smile, where you take a deep, long breath, and then begin addressing the audience. What happens when you relax? It soothes your nerves. Maybe you count to three, one, two, and three, and pause a while before saying anything. Be positive about your speech and feel that you will have a good experience while dealing with the public. Also, one needs to transform worry and nervousness into courage, curiosity, zeal. All these qualities also must be there. Next is a very interesting tip which says we should visualize ourselves while giving a speech. So imagine and draw a mental picture of yourself speaking loudly, clearly, and confidently. And also visualize the audience applauding you. This, when you imagine, will boost up your enthusiasm and self belief. Next, it says, don't apologize. That means do not feel sorry for the nervousness or maybe any unintentional mistake that you make while speaking. After all, we all are human beings. It's okay if you make a mistake, but do not apologize for any problem or error. Maybe it may happen that even the audience may not have noticed it. Just take it easy and move on confidently. Next, it says, concentrate on the message, not the medium. So, that means centralize your entire attention on the subject matter and your audience. The medium should be treated as secondary part of speaking. Keep yourself away from uneasiness and just focus on your speech and your target audience. That will do the half of the work. The next tip says employ support material appropriately. So that means do not include the support material and fillers like humors, quotes, stories, etc., just for the sake of including them. Do use them appropriately to support your speech and viewpoint. The next tip says punctuate the words properly. So, use proper punctuation of words. Along with that, you must also use gestures to complement your words accordingly. If you want to tell them how big the monster was, then show them with your arms wide open. Okay, that is the trick. Next, connect with the audience. That's a very important tip. Be regularly in touch with the audience while speaking. How do you keep the audience? Things like maintaining direct eye contact. Use your eye contact to make everyone in your audience feel involved. Ask questions or maybe heartily acknowledge any comment or statement coming from the audience. So make your speech not a lecture but a dialogue. That must be the motive. Move in between the audience to build up your connection with them, and ultimately it will turn out to be a nice experience for you. Follow time constraints. So maybe if you have 10 minutes or maybe if you have 50 minutes, either way, you must tailor your presentation to fit the time that has been allowed and respect your audience by not going over the time. The more time you exceed beyond the scheduled one, the more insignificant your speech would be for the audience. So we must always keep on following the time constraints. The next one says, be logical while speaking off the line. That means, thoughtless and unprepared speaking, even before or after or during a presentation, it leaves a long lasting adverse impression on the audience. But if you do it properly and thoughtfully, that tells the audience that you are an expert who has the knowledge beyond the main content and prepared speech. And then your audience is surely or definitely going to acknowledge you. The next tip says about using our body language appropriately. So, body language, we all know that it is one of the important factors of public speaking. That is, the way you stand, the way you walk or move about with appropriate hand gesture or facial expression is preferred to sitting down or standing still with head down and reading from a prepared speech. So, body language must be a positive one. Next is using audiovisual aids properly. So the aids and or props that enhances the audience's interests, we must use it always appropriately. We must learn to use the presentation software such as PowerPoint well before presentation. Do not confuse your audience with excessive use of maybe moving pictures or sound clips or bright colors, which may be inappropriate for your topic. You should not be torturing your audience by putting on too lengthy document in a tiny print on an overhead or slide. Keep it more descriptive from your point of view. Next is, do not read from the notes. That is a very important thing for you all students. Avoid reading from the notes for any extended length of time, although it is quite acceptable to give a momentary look at your notes, but that should be done infrequently, not frequently. Speak only the main headings and key points. Speak loudly and clearly, sound confident, do not mumble while reading. Okay, next is be prepared for the unexpected. So that means we all must be mentally prepared for anything that is any unexpected comment from the audience. Prepare yourself as your presentation may finish before or beyond the scheduled time. If you are short of time, know that what can be safely left out. If you have extra time, know what could be effectively and interestingly added. So, what I mean to say is always be prepared for the unexpected. And then giving a pause. So, do not be always in a hurry to finish it off. Do not run. Do not run and race through your speech. Okay, and do not it should not be like that you're just by giving your speech you're just trying to avoid doing the formality. You're just doing a formality of delivering the speech. So pausing in between and leave yourself as well as your audience for a little time to think, analyze. Pausing is very important. And lastly, the tip for effective public speaking is ask for and utilize feedback. So we all must accept that no speech or no speaker is perfect. So we all must, as effective orators, look out for continuous improvement and betterment. And if that is what we aspire to be, we must also understand that the best way to improve our oratory skills is to welcome a healthy and candid feedback from as many people as you can. After all, you are going to benefit from it. So, ask for feedbacks. Okay, now, so we are going to deal with the most important part of the public speaking topic, that is overcoming fear of public speaking. This is kind of unavoidable. The fear of public speaking is there. So I have given you here some tips about with which you can overcome your fear of public speaking. In case you want to overcome nervousness and fear of public speaking, firstly, choose a subject that you have a good command on. Once you know that what you would be speaking at the event, it will make you comfortable. Half of the fear of public speaking would be gone. And if you want to perform well in public speaking and avoid nervousness that is associated with it, prepare a well researched speech. In case the topic does not belong to your area of expertise, do not worry. Research the information available in the internet, libraries, and acquaint yourself with the topic. Other than that, the solution to the problem of fear of public speaking is to understand that the feeling and fear is more in the mind of the speaker but actually does not exist. The audience, if you think the audience is the problem, the audience is not there to criticize, or they are not there to make fun of you, or to come out with something extraordinary. All that is expected of you is to give some relevant points to make the speech logical and reasonable. And apart from this, if you want to overcome fear, you must always reach the venue well before time. Familiarize and make yourself comfortable with the venue. Talk to the audience around. Introduce yourself informally, and this actually will help you to relax before the event starts. Okay, and so when you interact with the audience is more likely to react positively to a known speaker. Also, you should keep on attending public events. That is also important. When you keep on attending public events, this will help you in understanding what is required from a good speaker. We must observe their ways of speaking, pick up from the nonverbal cues, and notice how they interact with the audience. And also, none of us must forget that the key to overcome the stage fright and nervousness is to practice, repeated practice. And while you're sitting with other speakers, taking deep breathing, so doing some deep breathing, that will give you fresh supply of oxygen, and that will ease your nerves and remove your anxiety or fear. So while you speak, pause a while, take a deep breath, it will actually calm you down. And one more important thing is to try to use humor. So what happens is humor works excellently to relax you and the audience too. In fact, the best way to start a speech is with a joke. Of course, it must be suitable to the subject and given situation. So, accordingly, you must not hesitate to include one or two jokes in your talk. And seeing the smiling faces of your audience will surely reduce the stress and fear. So, all in all, these were the ways of how you could overcome the fear of public speaking. If you, concludingly, we may say that the ability to excel in public speaking and communication skills makes you a big champion in front of your employers and also builds a great reputation for you. So it actually boosts up your career. It is a true career booster. In fact, both undergraduate and graduate business schools strongly advocate the importance of public speaking skill to their students for building their career and future success. Of course, public speaking is also considered to be a powerful way to make good impression on others, and also helps in improving, removing the misunderstanding thereby, and enhances cooperation. So, thus, when we master the art of public speaking, it is actually going to help us uh, in personality development. It brings a lot of improvement in our overall personality. Thank you.